You take it as the three different verticals. One is a corporate, the second one is a government, but there is an in between the layer which is called as a PSU, the public sector units. But in the enterprise, that if you really need some results very fast, and if you are very impatient for the results and the technology side, then I think that the corporate MNCs are the much more lineage towards it. But you must also have to have that the flavor of the government industry, the public sector unit itself. So cyber security, when hacking comes in, the hacking comes with the hacking procedures. There are 12 or 13 different mechanisms. Reconnaissance, footprinting, social engineering, SQL injection. These are the different paradigms. How you have to do all these the attacks which need to be done for the cybersecurity.
So I guess we can start, sir. So before that, I would like to introduce us. So actually, this is me, Saurodeep, and we have recently started this podcast, 50 Sets of Tech. Okay. And we have done many podcasts before. I mean, with 8 to 9 in the industry folks. Our one objective is to bring industry figures like you so that it can inspire us. I mean, the beginners who are just starting out and exploring things. I mean, so that you can bring the shades of tech in them. Okay, so that you can introduce the shades of tech. So there are different shades, right? Different technologies available right now. I mean, Web three, then there is AI. AI is booming right now. Then there is cybersecurity. All right, and cloud. Web development is always there. I mean, so our one objective is to bring you industry figures in our podcast, and so that we can ask about your journey, how I mean you have done. I mean how you are right now. How have you paved your road? All right. So without further ado, let's start. I mean, Gaurav sir, can you give us a brief some brief introduction of yours so that the audience here would be able to know more about you? I mean, you
Yeah.
are yeah you are a industry figure with 27 years of industry experience, and recently you are doing currently a PhD in cybersecurity, and you have been CTO in Neapolitan, India, right? It's CTO. So can you share
Yeah.
us your journey? I mean, why are you doing your cybersecurity in PhD, and what made you do so, and how are you here? Why are you here? I mean, what was your inspiration to start in tech to begin with, sir?
Okay. Thank you, Suradeep. First of all, for inviting me for this podcast, 50 Shades of the Technology. I think
Yeah.
somehow or somewhere I synonym this to my personality as well. That I initiated my career as into software, then networking, then cybersecurity, then biometrics, and then forensics. So it's an amalgamation of the different all technologies together. And then for last, as rightly you said, that for last 27, 28 years, that this is what I'm just doing it from the year by year, the organization to organizations, and growth part had been taken from that lead, from where it's more like as I was just purely as a novice, as a normal student who came from a very humble background, and then went up to these particular stature where today you are calling me as that the industry veteran, and then managing all these particular very premium portfolio from different organizations. Um, as I started my career in 1997, just like as the simple graduate of the BSc Electronics, I just started in that way, and then went into the software engineering. It was a boom for the dot-com era, early 99. I would could be one of the very initial certified resources in India who was a CERN certified Java professional and developer. And then afterward, my journey has started from the development up to the networking, then cybersecurity. Very early days, like 2003, 2004, we deployed the decoys and the honeypot, and a few of the very prominent personalities in India by that time who were the father figures for the cybersecurity were my students. Are proud with proud. I used to say that I have trained them. I have taught them about the basics of certain technologies. Very testimonials are available for the multinational organizations by like as Accenture, British Oxygen Corporation, the French Telecom, the British Telecom, as well as with the government of India, with the very intelligence agencies also I have just trained by that time, Indian Army, and then few of our army professionals who were trained by the Department of Defense in the United States of America, that I have trained them. Those were my students. I have also trained few of the resources back in Pune Military Engineering College. So it's a very humble. The background started from a very small a place known as a Pathankot in Punjab, and then I started my career from that particular place. And then I had that particular zeal that to do something in my life, and that as rightly you pointed out of one question that while I'm just doing my PhD in cybersecurity, what is the reason and the motivation for that? Um, the people who knew me since that I started my struggle, and then in this IT field perspective, that I always have an ambition that to do something innovative, and specifically in the place of a protocols or certain technologies which has to be initiated by myself. So this research, because at this particular juncture, the last almost couple of decades, that whatsoever the growth you have taken for yourself, it's enough for me as of now. And then now that the research, the time is for the research where I have to achieve my dream, and then this is a path which I have to take it forward. So I'll take it as that the shades which you have taken as the name of this podcast. So I also have different shades of my personality in terms of the career itself. So I you take it like as that the four different phases of my life, the 97 to 2009. I've been there in the corporate industry, been there into the country, then India, SAARC, APEC, Middle East. That these are the particular regions which I have catered down. I was a continent head for one of a Spanish company, and then that was my last corporate juncture in the first phase where I just ended my corporate journey. In 2010, I initiated my entrepreneur journey that having four different organizations back in Middle East, India, as well as and a few other countries for that. So I just ran that particular set of my own activities, and then till 2018, and today is a very day when I lost my father. Today his eighth anniversary, and that the day I decided that to give up my entrepreneurship, and then I have to return back due to the family concerns back in India. So 2018, I initiated the third phase of my life, which was of independent consulting, and did the very notable accomplishments that the Sen IP migration projects for the Vodafone Idea on behalf of Ericsson, which was very cumbersome job for the entire Maharashtra, Goa, and Haryana circle. That I did that migration from Cisco high-end series to the Uniper MX series, and it was a notable accomplishment, and then to give me a boost and my confidence in myself for that. And then afterward, the PowerTel, the entire data center and disaster recovery, the designing of that entire project with Sterlite Technologies. Then I did the T Fiber, Telangana Fiber, entire Telangana design for the DWDM, that your IP, IPMPLS from the core aggregation access, and then finally the GPON solutions for the 12,000 gram panchayats. I accomplishment with the 10Finet, Mahanet, all these particular projects along with the project Varuna in Indian Navy, which I initiated by that time. So the architectures, I just worked on that. So notably, I did that Delhi Safe City by that particular period itself. And then while just doing those particular designing of an RFPs, another RFP used to come, then a couple of assignments were there. I just made it. And then finally, I landed at the fourth phase of my life, which was the technical leadership program with one of a company as a value-added distributor in RH and Protect. Did wonderful time spent with the team, established that the revenue of the organization, help this entire validation and valuation of the company perspective. Uh, that many prestigious projects have been gone through with that. After a stint of a couple of years with them, that then I joined this Napoleon, and right now I'm in a transition phase. Right, this is only that as of now the profile.
Yes, sir. Actually, I can also, I mean, recently I have got the opportunity to work with Indian Space Research Organization. So I have been an intern there, and I have worked with a project based on their satellite data. So went there and had a 2 month of internships there, and we have worked with them. So I mean, the government working with government projects is a totally different experience, according to
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
yeah.
so can you highlight upon that? I mean, what is the difference? I mean, you have been so into so many fields, into so many shades. Okay, so you have must seen the corporate life also, right? So yeah, so can you highlight the difference between the corporate? I mean, if someone is watching and he or she is wants to choose which sector he wants to go, he or she wants to go in public sector or private sector. So can you
Okay.
elaborate on that?
See, there are rightly you said that the enterprise and the government are two different verticals altogether. It's a two different poles
Yeah.
apart. So the one is a north and the other one is a south pole. The enterprise, when you look at any of an opportunity in enterprise, and you have to work with the corporate culture, it's more like as the decision making is quite fast. They would like to evaluate different technologies very fastly. They go deep dive into every single information, and then whatever the suits as per their requirement, they have to take it appropriately. The corporate industry is more towards the compliance side as well, because they do also have to be responsive. I'm not saying that denying that particular fact for the government sector as well, but in the enterprise, that if you really need some results very fast, and if you are very impatient for the results and the technology side, then I think that the corporate MNCs are the much more lineage towards it. But you must also have to have that the flavor of a government industry, the public sector unit itself. So you take it as the three different verticals. One is a corporate, the second one is a government, but there is a in between the layer which is called as a PSU, the public sector units. Now, like as a ISRO, the DRDOs, the NHPCs, the PowerTel, the RailTel, and these are the organizations which has the quite good fund have been allocated by the government of India, and they are creating the much more value towards a government ecosystem. Government also realized that, and normally when in the tendency is that the government works always takes some time. Yes, there is a due process. There is always a proper process that you have to firstly evaluate that particular project. Earlier were the gone were the days when people used to say that the government is not evaluating, government is the officials are not aware of the technology. Yes, they are, but they do have their own limitations as well. They are not the only technologists who have to do only the technology, but yes, the side by side, due to the certain responsibilities, certain departments, the CISOs are there, the CTOs are there, CIOs are there, have been deputed for the different organizations, and they are evaluating. And many of the times, we are surprised that they know much better than us. When you look at that from the event perspective or any of the panel discussions, the CIOs, the CISOs, the CTO for any of a government organization have a fair idea about the technology. But yes, there is a due process and there is a proper process which they have to follow it. There is a RFP, there is a RFQ, there is a EOI, expression of interest. So they always have to follow that. They have to publish this entire thing over the government e-marketplace, or like as a public tender, public RFP, which takes its own time, that the due course for that, which takes that particular process for that the completion of this particular entire job, how it has to be done. So the different nomenclature, different naming conventions are there. But if you have some patience, you have perseverance, that to do something big in your life, and then the notable accomplishment, you want to do something for your country, that courage you have it. I think that the majority of the satisfaction comes with the government projects itself. Being very honest to you, that the kind of an enterprise architectures I have seen, that it's like as a many of the times is the amalgamation of the different technologies, which many of the times the APIs are not interconnected with each other. But when it comes onto the government side, it gives a sense of a satisfaction. 700 crores, 1,300 crores, so the big amount of a projects, and then it gives a sense of proud as well. You did some contribution to the society, back to the country, and then you do your job. I think that the rest of the things have to become in your own way. So I believe that any of an opportunity, either you're getting into the corporate or as well as into the your government sector, it's you have to grab it and then give your 100% shot for that.
Yes, sir. I mean, I can totally relate to that. The 2 months I have worked there at ISRO, so we felt a pride. I mean, for our countries that we are doing something for
Yeah.
ISRO. We felt yeah, I felt a pride there. So my next question would be, I mean, you have seen, you have been to, telling us about your different phases of your life, right? So you
Yeah.
graduated in 2000, I guess 4 or 5.
Right. So if you look at that, I have a two bachelors. One is into a bachelor of electronics in Pathankot, and the other one as a BSc IT. That's in Manipal Academy of Higher Education. So for the IT perspective, I always say that in 2003 and 4 that I have completed my Manipal Academy of Higher Education BSc IT.
Okay, so what made you to shift from electronics to IT totally?
It's a funny story, but I will say that one thing which I would like to share, that I used to serve, be there in Pathankot. There's a one college, SMDRST college. I'll not take the name of the professor by that time.
Okay, okay,
I was
no
into
issues.
electronics, right? So at that point in time, way back in 97, 98, 99, early days of the computers, um, so we were there, the electronic students, and there was another section which was for the computer science. And that point in time, that the computers were like the Windows 95 systems was so qualified or so costly for that sense that you were not allowed to get inside that room with shoes. You have to remove your shoes outside the door, and then you have to go there. And then it was more like as any of a myth which used to say that any dust will not be allowed within that computer room, right? Air conditioned room with the big facilities. So my one of my friend, we used to stay very near to each other's place, and then I completed my classes and went up to his computer classes session, and then I just opened the door. I just put my foot inside, and the professor said, "If you have so much of an interest to come to computer sessions, so you should learn about the computers." I think that that's only the trigger point in my career. From electronics, I switched towards computers. But fortunately, I was very fortunate that on behalf of my academy, that at that point in time, it was Aptech Computer Center in Pathankot. I gave a lecture in the same, my own college, with the same computer sessions, and including my lecture was there. So that's only the trigger point where which I just moved from electronics to computers way back in late 90s.
Yeah. So you shifted because of your because you got inspiration from your sir, right? So sir, I would like to ask, yeah. So if someone is watching right now, okay, the video will be uploaded over at YouTube. So if someone is watching and he is currently in the core branch, okay, and he or she also gets the inspiration that computer is booming right now. So what if I start learning about computers and stuff? So what things you would like to say? I mean, what tips you would like to give to him or to face the struggle. I mean, to face up the struggle to from shifting to a another branch to computer science branch.
No, I think firstly you should see our days were totally different. Today
Yeah,
you have that entire social media. The boom is there. The knowledge groups are quite a lot. You have so much of information which is available on your fingertips itself. That you know that what is the best and the worst for you in your career. You know what is your heart wants to get in that. If you really like to get into the computers, without a doubt, you should get into it. You know that everyone whosoever doesn't want to be there in this particular field, they also know that how to run that any of an iPhone, laptop, iPad, or as well as any machine. So I don't think that computer learning is a challenge for anyone. I think that the deep dive that to make a career into computers, that it totally depends on to that which fields you would like to go. It's into development, it's into networking, it's into cybersecurity, or way beyond that any of an opportunity to scale it up, big data, uh, artificial intelligence, data science, programming. So it totally depends on to what kind of an interest you have in mathematics, how strong you have built in yourself for this, how deep you would like to go for the studies for that. Because what I believe that the social media and this the real culture has destroyed the entire the future. As if now that the way our young generation is learning about those particular things. Because in our time slot, time period that when we used to learn, we had a very limited resources, but we had that particular zeal to learn that. Right now, also, I'm not denying it that the Gen Z, you guys, have the sharpened mind, the brightest mind as well. But I think that the channelizing the energy of your brain towards the right approach with the right methodology, definitely you'll reach to your destination wherever you are destined. But it always looks not here it there. Who what's my friend, my uncle, my parents are saying it. It's better that to talk to them and to express yourself, and then to be there. That whatever you want to do, whatever you wish to achieve in your life, you have to go and grab it.
thanks, sir. I mean, I can totally also relate to this. The distractions are everywhere currently,
Yeah,
and the social media is actually damaging our brain. I mean, we have been watching intelligent reels more than studying, like this.
yeah,
What is
exactly.
happening right now, and our attention is also decreasing. I mean, to focus on one thing at a time, it's also deteriorating with time. Okay. So I'm coming to the different section. So apart from all the government projects you have done, Okay, so what is the project? I mean, you feel most proud of?
Okay. Uh, okay. There are many. I think it's more like as a similar one. You'll ask Kishore Kumar or Kumar Sanu that who is the best of the song he had just sung for his in his lifetime. It's the number of projects which I have done it. I always felt proud of that. Be it into Delhi Safe City, the Power Grid, DCDR, data center, disaster recovery. Be it into King Saud University back in Riyadh, the biggest university also. There are certain airports which I have designed it in Middle East as well as in APEC region on behalf of one of a US-based company. But I would believe that Project Daira, way back in 2008, was very close to me. With all the adversaries that surrounded me, it's a one of a very, very prominent project way back in 2008 by the Indian Armed Forces, where all the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force has set up a cyber security, very early days of the cyber security and forensic workstations. So this entire project, when all odds were down, the company which I was just representing had never taken any of a project, single-handedly taken over that particular project uh, in competition to the very big biggies like as a TCS, the HCL, the Infosys by that time. I think once you win that particular project on behalf of yours, and it give a recognition of yourself in industry, I think that built that particular confidence within myself that this is a one project Daira. It's always I always take a feather on my cap and on my chest as well, that the very first and the initial project which I have just been associated, single-handedly taken it over, and that's a good one for me.
So you have actually designed an airport. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There was in Middle East the project Jijan Airport was going on. So when it comes on to the entire security, the satellite communications, when it comes on to the entire structure for to be designed it, define it, while my entrepreneur journey was going on. So I was there in 2012 and 2013. So Jijan Airport, which is the nearest to the Yemen border by that time, have been worked along with that particular company. So far the many companies in United Arab Emirates like Plafon, Transcend, which works for the Sharjah Airport, Abu Dhabi Airport, as well as the Dubai Airport. So those particular designs also, architecture has been finalized by me. I'm very specialist into the enterprise architectures, the security frameworks like Delhi Safe City, the public domain, the RFP, the architecture which you'll see it into it, that's mine. If you look at the power grid, the edge data center RFP, where the entire architecture and solution is designed by me. So when you look at all these particular architectures as well as how to frame it, how the traffic flow has to be done it on the network, on the security, on the different zones, be it into the parameterized zone, you have to look at the demilitarized zone, your management zone, your security zone, as well as your militarized zone. So I configure all these particular patterns firstly on the paper, make it as a design, and all the components had to be sizes appropriately, and then to take it forward from there. So this is more like as a holy book Bible for all the architects, and then this is a part of a HLD, the high level designs, and then the implementation always used to start from there itself.
Okay, so sir, if someone is currently watching and he or she wants to design architectures, I mean, not big architectures, but start with small architectures. I mean, so
Mm.
what advice you should give so that he or she can start out in the field of cybersecurity, in the field of cloud, how he or she can start in 2025?
Okay. So first you need to understand that the basics must be very clear. The architecture is not about that just only about two different servers or two different components which has to work in. It's always amalgamation of the different components. So you need to understand the components from the servers, the compute, the storage, with the data lakes or the data science, the networking with the switches, with the different instances of the different applications. So any application would have the different instances, like your web server or application server would have a separate one. Your database core engine and all the platform will have a separate engines. How you'll place it, because every single component had to be addressed separately. So the design has not to be appropriately only for the cybersecurity perspective, but also from the entire data which need to be accessed by a user. So it's a data center specialization. It's more like as a edge data centers, cloud based, or the cloud architectures, hybrid model, the multi-cloud environments. So the traffic patterns which has to be done it, the different components, how it exactly works, how the link load balancers works, what are the different analogies for the firewalls, IPS used to place in front of the firewall or after the firewall, how this VAPT, the vulnerability assessment or penetration testing, how my staging server to be placed in, what are the different amplifications for my NT-APTs or the different tools like as a IDS had to be placed in appropriately. What is the role of the GSLB server load balancer and reverse proxy? And these particular things, once you have put in your mind, I think all the entire thing will come it on the paper itself, and then more like as a um, uh, more like as a painting. It comes into your mind and the brain that how exactly it has to work on, and the different like nowadays. Those were the days when we used to say that the legacy architecture used to have all these particular parameters, but now there is a zero trust architectures, right? So the zero trust architecture doesn't follow the legacy models or the architecture for it. How exactly it has to be looked into the CASB, the cloud access security broker, or you're the component which need to be placed in appropriately with your the zero trust network authentication with the certificate server as well as the identity governance framework. So I think it's a time bound. You have to go through with it. There are certain certifications in the industry as well, which provide that the how you can design your data center or any of an infrastructure. That totally it's like as that if any of an architect who is there left to right, just discuss with them. I'm available. My social media handles are available. You guys can take it those particular sessions as well. I'll be free to help in anyone in any particular field to design any architecture and can give my sessions as well.
Yes, sir. So, sorry, you mentioned about a certification. So, what certifications can a beginner look up to so that he can or he or she can test his or her cybersecurity skills?
So Cisco has their own data center design certification. There are a few of the architecture. The CDCP is from the basic of the cooling, power, calculations, and computation for the different agencies. They do have it, but as I said, that you must have to have your basics be very right, and then you can place your component accordingly.
Yes, sir. And also, AI is currently booming right now. So, what's your take on a crossover between cybersecurity and AI? So, how cybersecurity is getting influenced by AI?
Okay. Cybersecurity for AI or AI for cybersecurity, these are the two different terms. Uh, I think a lot of things have been said about AI. A lot of things are available for AI in the all YouTube videos, the social media, the panel discussions, events, every tool, every technology, every process is influenced by AI. This is a fact which we have to rely on. We cannot rule down that the AI is no more existent. It is there, but how you are going to deploy within your use case, it matters. Nowadays, like as every single AI tool which has to have some data to process and then to yield certain results. Uh, Cybersecurity tools always have to have that particular data and then to process on that particular part. So AI has to play a very important part for that nature. But how this AI is going to be amalgamated with the other technologies and how entire perspective need to be worked on. Recently, there was a news that one company has given some instruction to AI, and AI has deleted their own company's database itself. So every technology has a pros and cons. What is the loop for that AI, the artificial intelligence, which is going to destruct by themselves? In Hindi, we used to call it as a basmaso. I'll take it that you should take it as from the constructive perspective for any technology or any idea which to be deployed it. In cybersecurity, we know that day in and out, every technology provider used to say that we have an agentic AI, we have a generative AI, we have deployed all these particular tools within my technology, but it's a simple traffic pattern which has to come out, and then everybody has to process that particular part itself. AI definitely needs in certain scenarios, but you need not to have it in every single part, every single use case. That's what I majorly used to say in many of the forums as well. We are talking about two different India. One is AI, ML, agentic AI, generative AIs, and then all these particular tools which has need to evaluate from the bigger solutions or the bigger technologies that the government is running very big scale of a project itself. And the second way around that we don't have a basic infrastructures. Many of our organizations are running without DNS. So how exactly that the basic infrastructure to be deployed first, and then AI has to be amalgamate on that part. Uh, we are not too about just only to spend AI because the world is purchasing that AI. We have to have that. It's more like a monologue from one side, and I used to say it at many of the time that these are the things which you have to procure it, and just because of the fund is required, and then the whole world is running after AI. There was a one company recently, like as a 6 months ago, was taken acquired by one biggest giant of the IT industry, and it was taken down because they claimed to be AI oriented, but there was the resources at the backside were doing that particular job. They were not actually AI oriented. So we also have to evaluate certain use cases, that whether it is actually an AI or is it someone is faking to be AI for that part. AI at its peak, I don't think that anybody has used it. It's again a time frame which we have to evaluate it. We need to look at that what are the use cases, how to be evaluate, what are the apprehensions, and how exactly it's going to be tackled down as well. We are facing day by day certain areas, certain scenarios where the AI doesn't have a response on that part. The basic questions which need to be answered. Let's focus firstly on that part. Definitely, the tools and the technologies will work on that part. But but in my purview, the TTP is much more required. The tool, techniques, and the processes. If you have that in line, in process, AI is definitely going to make an added advantage for it.
Yes, sir. Likewise, you said, I mean, it is talking about AI, but the basic infrastructure is not there. Okay. And AI is currently, in my opinion, ever since ChatGPT came and everyone starts talking about AI, they are just talking about the AI hype, not the actual AI. All right. I mean,
Yeah.
agentic AI is coming, generative AI is coming. So what should I mean? You mentioned cybersecurity for AI and AI for cybersecurity. These are two different things. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, AI hallucinates a lot, right? I mean, yeah, there are bias and there are things that I mean, there are parameters inside the AI model that I mean, nobody can explain. It's like a black box thing in some cases. All right, the cell attention is all you need. Paper, right? The attention. There are things that are not yet explained right now also. So what's your take on this? I mean, what's your take on the cybersecurity for AI thing and the AI for cybersecurity thing? I mean, what's the difference?
Okay. Let's take an example. Let's say understand from an example for that. There is a cybersecurity. There is a SIM, SOAR, UBA, right? The entity behavior analysis tool. Any of an organization wanted to have this SIM to be deployed in their infrastructure. So SIM would have that collected the logs from all the resources, right? Be it into your networking, your hardware, your compute, your storage, your entire network components. They have stored it into one of a database and data lake for that. Now, the SIM has a capability because it's a data lake which has to be acquire the data, ingest it, and then to segregate those ingestion has to be done onto those particular logs, and then to reprimand it towards the source for to take that any of the logs which has been taken as the highest risk for it, and then to put it towards the source for your orchestration and automation of those particular tasks, which we call it as a mitigator. So any action which has to be taken on that particular device where any of a log has been raised as a flag, as a red for this. Now there is AI, artificial intelligence. It could be a false alarm as well. Now the AI has to play a role for this, right? The it's a cybersecurity you have deployed, and now the AI has to play a role for that. So the vice versa, when there is a AI and the cybersecurity has to be deployed over it. So it means that there is a technology which is providing the artificial intelligence, and you need to make the infrastructure so secure that your AI cannot deal itself from its attacks. So let's assume that any of an application which is like as a data lake, putting that directly into the militarized zone as a secured zone for that, and then any attacker wanted to have a DDoS attack to restrict your services. So you need to deploy your cybersecurity for your AI. So the difference is totally relevant in that perspective. Now, concern comes out that whether it's effective that the AI on your cybersecurity tool. Now there are two thoughts. The school of thoughts are there. One, that the traffic flow is only one, which is coming out from your network router inside your data center, right? So from that particular traffic flow itself, either you have to take a S flow, J flow, N flow, where the flows are separate. Then the same traffic flow, you have to have the assessment of your patch upgradation for the staging server, your vulnerability assessment and the penetration testing for that. You have to do the NT-APTs for it. You have to have a DLP for that. You have your DNS packets for it. You have a multi-factor authentication. You have your DHCP. You have your Active Directory, and then any of a packet request which is coming in a HTTPS format for it. So one stream, and then all the things are segregated, and the different tools have been aligned. Nowadays, many of the organizations or many of the tool companies or the product companies claim that they have a single security platform which caters all these things in a one single way. Uh, I don't know that how much of they have been utilized, how much is the efficiency of such platforms. But still, if you go through with that particular media, the news, the examples, what we are facing day in and out from the different customers, the enterprises, that the breach is happening after every 11 seconds,
Mhm.
right? The tools are there. The artificial intelligence has been deployed at the highest level. But how the practices have been deployed? The AI has to be deployed into certain use cases. The use case on the artificial intelligence, whether some false alarm is happening on a particular tool, need to be even immediately raised, just like as anyone will raise the hand or the flag that this is not an appropriate one. So I think that the intelligence need to be done on those scenarios rather than just only like as a regular jobs. If the regular jobs are going on, it's like as a faster efficiency, like supercomputers. They are doing it. They will do it not today, but definitely after a couple of months or couple of years, then another GPU will come, then the faster the speed will come, and it has to be activated. Where the LLMs, the language models had been trained appropriately, that if certain situation come, that how you train your model and then how it exactly react on those particular parts. I think where the AI has to play a greater role and a bigger role as well.
So, what is the current stage? I mean, what is the current stage of AI sufficiently helping cybersecurity? I mean, you're saying that companies are deploying cybersecurity solutions that are automated by AI, right? So, what is the current state of that, and how and to get a full secured infrastructure using AI? So, what will be the year by that?
So they, I think, go back to the 2002, 2003, up to like earlier 2000 days of a cybersecurity books, and I don't know nowadays what they used to say, but the very first chapter, the first page, para, or any second or third paragraph will always say that the cybersecurity doesn't make sure that your infrastructure is 100% secure. It's irrelevant till today. It's relevant till today in any scenario, in any event. Believe me that like as a special ops, just like as a recent
Yeah,
one of our OTT platform, the series is going on. You might have seen that, that
I've seen.
the best of the infrastructure, the best of the mechanisms, the Hollywood movies, the government sector, even the certain itself in India, that any of a reserve bank of a website, any of the platforms which the government has devised, like as a couple of years back, one of a premier health institute in Delhi got hacked, got ransomware attack as well. The situation is really not good. Really not good. Uh, when I'm saying that we do have some practical scenarios, the industry really need to take it up on their toes. I believe that it's just only what we say it on a public platform. It's actually a preaching. There's cybersecurity, everybody has to do it. But when it comes on to the reality, the realistic picture, we are not at all serious. We are just only evaluating whether due to, yeah, with all due respect to all the stakeholders, be it into the product owners, the OEMs, the system integrators, with the partners, with the consultants, with the vendors, every single one is just only looking at the money. Once that the money is making, it's a L1 scenario. Whosoever gives the lowest bid for any of a product has been taken over by the government or any of an enterprise itself. It's just only that the how your quotation has been gone lower down, and then your competition is giving as a higher cost for that, the technology, whether it is a validated, not validated, POCs are just like as a mere checklist for it. The ISO 27001, the compliance for the security standards, it's just only the check marks for it. Whatsoever the non-conformities, the NCs which has been provided, are we sure enough that these organizations are very serious about these NCs on this part? No. It's practical on the ground. If you look at it, then anyone can penetrate. Whatsoever the vulnerability assessment and penetration by certain organizations or certain people, certain tools which have been taken. I know that like as a 1 or 2 years of a younger experienced guys are doing the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. And then many of the tools which they have given just only an Excel report, the tool has given, any of a tool has given a report that this is my secured one. You have to fix it up, your infrastructure will be secure. This is not the way you have to do it. You have to do the entire gap assessments. What are the tools are required? What exactly the technology you need it? If you have to have a use case of a DLP, then procure it. If you need not to have it, don't buy it. But the problem is because somebody else is using it, somebody else is recommending it, and we want to use it. That's it.
Yeah, sir. And sir, likewise you mentioned, I mean, in special ops, there were shown scenes like every country, like China was specifically attacking India. So, I mean, is India capable enough to defend all the attacks? I mean, most of the attacks is India. What is the
Uh,
cybersecurity state
you
of our country?
now there are the answers will be two. One, two of this question. The one answer you yourself has given, and even the series also had given one of in its dialogue itself, that many of the times they attack us and we got breach, and in counter attack we have breached them as well, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
right, so it's like as that if you remember that one of a scene, he always say that the hero used to say that, say till 2021 we were quite superior, but post
Yeah.
21 they have taken a one step next, right? I think it's a one of a promo as well. Now the concern here is not that who is having an upper edge. What we are doing it, I'll not take the name of any of a country because it's not my jurisdiction that to speak about any country what they are doing or what they are not doing. It's my only responsibility to say that what we as an Indian doing. India need to deploy all their best of the mechanism, the best practices. Government is doing their part without a doubt. Government cannot be everywhere. The government, it's more like as a we, as a stakeholder itself. Me myself, either as a consultant or as a partner, as a OEM product owner, or as a system integrator, that my responsibility, whatever the job I have given in my hands, I have to give my 100% out of it, right? If I have a very little knowledge in certain concepts, it's very dangerous for me, and it's happening in cybersecurity industry, right? And normally, it's a very, very laughable stock, but we used to say in our community that everyone is a Chaudhary of technology. My technology is much better than yours. If Suradeep will suggest me something, I'll without taking any further deep dive, I'll take it on my ego and will say that, I have a 27 years of an experience in industry and my design is much better. It's not that evolving that discussion, it's not coming up from that you might be right because you have some idea which I'm not looking at it. So it's a one way. If it's like as that either my way or highway, if that approach is going to be happening in any of an industry, I don't think that we are going to reach out to any consensus that to secure this network or in this country. We all have roles, responsibilities at our level. We have to do it. It's good that if we uh, contemplate on certain part where you have your own role, I have my own role, we all sit together on the table wherever the chances of the modifications or amendments are required. We all discuss, debate, and then put it forward for this, right? It's not about that to take it on my personal ego or onto my reputation stake for that. If something is better happening for the organization or any of an infrastructure, it's always welcome. I think this is where we all have to come. Uh, and I think this is more like as a discuss and debate need to be initiated as well.
I mean, so sir, we have to be open-minded as possible, right?
It has to be. Without open-minded approach, the cybersecurity cannot be deployed. I'll not take the name of the few OEMs or a few of the partners or the community side. They always look at it as the one single stack or the single solution for it. There are multiple technologies. You need not keep evaluating them and then to look at that how they have integrated. What are the best possible integrations across the different boards altogether? The different technologies which can be taken care of that part. So once we do that entire integration, looking at from all these particular perspectives, I believe that this is going to be the best of for the solution ever to be made.
Yes, sir. I mean, so earlier you talked about so you are involved in bioinformatics. So what about that? I mean, so can you elaborate on that? How you have been
Okay.
involved in bioinformatics?
No, no, it's a biometrics, the forensic sciences technologies. While I was just doing one project, it was immediately after DIRA in way back in 2008. There was a one of a requirement for a national security advisor by that time to the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. So the request was that to find a voice biometric solutions. So there were only three companies in the whole world. So in my research, there was a one challenge has been given it to me. I was a PMO, second in command to my CMD by that time. So there was a one only Israeli company which was known to be providing the voice biometric solution in that era. So the challenge was given to me within 24 hours. I did that particular research, and that internet at that time the speed was not so big, but still we did that. So there were three companies. One was a Russian, the second one was an Italian, and the third one was a Spanish. So the Spanish company, which was Ignitio, which later taken over by Nuance, and now it's a taken acquisition has been taken by Microsoft, which is a voice biometrics as a speaker recognition. So this technology has been taken back to India in 2008, and then they appointed me as a continent head for the entire Australia, New Zealand, Asia, Eastern Asian countries, as well as the Middle East. So 72 countries I was just reporting. They were reporting back to me, and I was just managing all the forensic laboratories back in India, with the help of a directorate of forensic science. Along with that, the different intelligence agencies we work on that particular part. So it's a speaker recognition. So the use case was very interesting. In Spain, if you remember that way back, there was a train bomb attack. So there was a bomb which was attacked in the capital city of Madrid in Spain. So the technology was initiated by the police academy, the police headquarters of Madrid, along with our CEO by that time, Emilio Martinez. So what they did that they always used to take a voice sample of every prisoner of a 7 seconds. So if I say so, it's more like as a voice samples, right? So as a more like as a voice footprints. So it's like as that my name is Gaurav. I just taking care of all these that my credentials, my father's name, my residence address, and all these particular aspects which need to be addressed appropriately, right? So then there is a entire the telecommunication between uh, a person from London or from XYZ, that to that the voice database which need to be matched with this particular voice sample, and then identified that particular voice match that that drug peddler who was there in a Madrid jail almost 6 months ago was actually the key conspirator, and they pick it out from this particular voice biometrics technology. So we brought back in India that particular technology, and then that my journey starts in voice biometrics from there. So earlier, I just tried my PhD in voice biometrics from University of Marburg under Dr. Herman Kunjal, but that did well, and then I had to return back to India.
Okay, sir. So I mean, if you change your voice, will the voice biometrics still work?
So the technology was so good enough that if you are a female and changing your voice in a male, if you are speaking, let's say that you have done a voice sample in Punjabi or Kannada or Telugu, it's a language irrespective to any of a language which has been said. And tomorrow, once the police had taken you, you speak in Hindi or in Urdu or in any other language, Chinese, Mandarin, Spanish, or any other language, Arabic itself. the different dialects you have spoken about. So it will even match it. It's a physics, entirely physics. So voice glands are there in your throat, that how you have to taken care of it. And if you have a very bad throat or a very nasal issues are there, it's like as a one of rarest information. But that those cases which they taken care of, but it was listed in NIST framework and way back in 2008, and the efficiency was near about to 97%, and it was highest after DNA. It was highest after DNA at that point in time. So today it's like it's almost like 16 years where the majority of the technology which has been taken care of. It's nowadays there are many Indian companies which are built up in that voice biometrics technology, and I think that the Tata also had built it up that particular and given it to the government of India.
Yes, sir. So at that time, it didn't even use, I mean, AI. I mean, recently, everyone is trying to implement AI solutions, but back at that time, it was not even possible. So it was, I mean, entirely a new domain for you, right?
Yeah, I always looked into the different domains, the different challenges. I never stick myself to one single domain or a vertical or a technology. I think that's only my plus point. I'll not call myself as a jack of all trades because um, I've worked on all these particular technology by my own hands. I have deployed it, I implemented it, and then I know that at least not up 100%, but at least 70 to 80, 85% of the technology I've worked from my own hands, certified into different technologies like CCIE, CISA, CISM, CISSP, and then many other platforms which have been taken, almost like as a 28 programming languages, different 8 to 9 set of an operating systems, and then multiple platforms, multiple technologies. Like as a recently, I was a part of a value added distributors. We are almost like a 72 to 73 different OEMs. I was representing, I was just looking at that technologies, evaluating firstly that particular product, the technology, the streams, and then only to resell into the market for that. Because being as a chief technical officer, that's your responsibility, not only to sit onto a chair and then to give an order or just instructions. It's just your responsibility, your ownership. That technology actually has to work in the appropriate solution and different ecosystems as well.
Sir, thanks. I mean, so you have been talking about entrepreneurship. So what's your take on that, on
Uh,
entrepreneurship?
See, I think the time when we started, it was quite tough job. It wasn't an easy. It's uh, we come from a very background where no one was from the business industry. We started ourselves our own, whatever the regulations, whatever the links, whatever the specialization we had it, and the market value, the wealth we have created from our own courage. I think that actually works. Don't be dependent on others. My 100% advice to all the young entrepreneurs who want to be in IT, don't be so unrealistic. Be there on the ground. They look at that day by day what you grow in yourself. See, finally the things will come onto the finances. Don't give up very soon. It's a game of a patience and perseverance. If you know that you can survive yourself onto certain part and your ambition is there, you want to achieve it with your passion, go get and grab. I think my always key mantra is that if you really want to do something at your own, you have to always give a try for that rather than just keep yourself thinking on that if I would have done something that I would have made another Bill Gates or another Steve Jobs. But you have to give your shot at the very early age. I think this is where you have to look at yourself that you can do wonders in your life. You have to just keep going on.
Yes, sir. It's already 1 hour, almost 1 hour. So you have been involved in various shades of technology. I mean, cybersecurity, bioinformatics, cloud computing. So what other shades of technology you have worked with?
Right. So I think life is ever evolving process. You never know that which every technology has its own path for 3 to 5 years of a lifespan, and there is another technology or the trend used to come in. So when I started, it was a software, then moved into networking, then cybersecurity, the biometrics, and forensics. Then parallelly, I just moved into the certain technologies which comes into that, like as a Python, then hardware programming, and then certain other aspects now, AI, ML, LLMs are there, agentic, your generative AI. Doing my PhD in cybersecurity to look at the framework or the models which need to be developed. I think it just I'm just flowing with the water, flowing with the time flow. That I think that the time which has been taken up to this way, what is going to come in next 3 or 4 years, whatever will come up, I'm ready to adapt myself in that way. And looking forward, the Almighty will give me that sense of the ownership at that point in time, which I'll be taking over on these concepts as
So, sir, thanks for your time. So, I would like to ask from the audience, if from the participants, if they have any questions, you can definitely ask, sir. From the audience,
well.
you have any question? Yeah, I guess Masum has a question. Masum, you can unmute yourself and ask him.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
you are
yes,
audible.
Mas.
So, hello, sir. I am Masum, and I have just completed the first year. And my question might sound little dumb. Okay. Recently, I was watching a web series called Mr. Robot, and the protagonist here there is a cybersecurity expert who works at a company who protects data of big companies. So, what they were trying to do is, I mean, the protagonist had a group of 3 to 4 people who were just trying to protect the normal people who maybe had some debt with the big companies. And there is a company called E Corp, and they defined the company as a evil. They called that company Evil Corp, and they what they wanted is they wanted to hack the company and wanted to erase all the debt records that they had from the poor people. Okay, so what were doing is they just planned the whole process how they will hack the company. So they at the end they what they did is they coded a rootkit and they planted that rootkit in a web server of that company and just erased all the data. I mean encrypted all the data. So is it possible in real life? I mean, is it normally filmy or possible? I mean, I
See,
might sound dumb, but
no, no, it's okay, Masum. I think it's a very valid. I think curiosity is always the key for innovation. I always look after that. Any question which has been asked, it's a not mere curiosity. It just could be the one of a reason where you can also apply and then can find the answers for that. See, anything is possible nowadays. Anything is possible. Any network, any mobile which is there in your hands, which is on the network, everything is possible. Which way, what methodology, what mechanism had been deployed, it could be a different, but yes, that's possible. Anything is possible. Now, you might have heard of that if your mobile is in your hand, anyone can put any spyware or any malware in your mobile phone, which can see your camera remotely. And then whatsoever your movements are there, whether it is on or not, still you can access that. So irrespective to the nature, if that is an electronic gadget which can be controlled. And recently, you might have heard of that Israel, that the spy agency Mossad had blasted few Hamas terrorists in Lebanon by the pager. The pager, it's almost like as a the decade-old technology which is there on their waist. They have taken that the range which has been taken as a shortwave range, which to blast that those particular bodies itself. So anything is possible. I don't know that which way it'll come up in next way, the cyber warfare. Now, last day itself, yesterday, I just posted over my WhatsApp status as well that the German technologists have developed a technique, the cockroaches, the backpack for the cockroaches, to spy that anywhere. Can you believe it? The cockroaches. So if you ask for any of the technology, whether it can exist or is it just only a filming, forget it. Anything can happen. Uri movie by Vicky Kaushal. If you might have seen that the one of a drone, which is into a shape of an eagle, it's just going into the terrorists' homes and then to look out all these particular things and then walk away. And then it is giving you all the information. It's just only a picture depiction only. But if you look at that, the drones are actually, it could not be, it could be a dramatic version they have given as an eagle, as a shape, as a robot for that. But the UAV drones are there already on the Pakistani skies. It is already there. So everything is possible without a doubt in nowadays era.
Okay, thank you. I also want to ask one thing as well. Whenever I say someone that I am starting to learn cybersecurity, they often associate that with only hacking. Bro, can you hack my girlfriend's Facebook or Instagram? I mean, you know, also how cybersecurity is different is suppose you are doing web or app development and you have to just learn the front end tech or back end, whatever it is, maybe database. But in cybersecurity, there are so many terms like backdoor, phishing, networking, and there is so much more. How can you cope up with all that? I mean, yeah.
The first thing is cybersecurity is an amalgamation of software programming, the networking, which is a connectivity, physical connectivity, and then when you've combined both the things, software plus networking, then on top of that, then the layer is called as a cybersecurity. Now, the first answer to your question, the first question that if you are learning cybersecurity, somebody asks you to breach or take the password of the girlfriends. The first thing is the Facebook, the Gmail, their servers are in United States of America, and they are with the compliance of their own countries. Though they have a backup servers in Singapore, Dubai, and Australia, but they will not share any information of those servers. So if somebody claims that they can take a password of a Facebook or a Gmail, forget it. Their passwords would be available on dark web. Once you have that password, then you can access it. But you cannot hack their passwords on Facebook or Gmail. That's one. So you give an answer appropriately proper. Nobody will ask you definitely after that. The second question is the cybersecurity. When hacking comes in, the hacking comes with the hacking procedures. There are 12 or 13 different mechanisms: reconnaissance, footprinting, social engineering, SQL injection. These are the different paradigms. How you have to do all these the attacks which need to be done for the cybersecurity. And the third question of yours, if I not forgetting appropriately, uh, that there are so many technologies are there in a cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is an ocean. It's just only what we are discussing right now. It's just only few of the drops. So if you have to go deep dive into cybersecurity, there are many tools. There are firewalls, there are IPS, there are IDS, there's a VPN, there is a PT, there are anti-APT, there is a DLF, there is a patching server, there is a DDoS, there is a network traffic analysis, there is a SIMS, there is a SOAR, there is a UBA, there is a NDR, there is a NBAT. There are so many things are there which need to be dealt with the cybersecurity mechanism. So it totally depends on to that what you want to do in cybersecurity. Accordingly, you choose your path and then move forward. I hope I gave all the answers.
Okay. Also, people often say that the opportunities of cybersecurity in India are less than maybe other tech stacks. Do you agree with that?
No, I'm totally against that. So first and the foremost, what is the population of our country? 1.4 billion,
Maybe. Yeah.
right? 140 crores, something like this.
Yeah.
Now, every company in the whole world wants to come to India. Why is it so? Whenever they have to do the peak evaluation of their product, they need the kind of a volume of an traffic we have in India. No one else in the whole world will allow to do so. China don't allow any US companies or the European companies to do the testing of their products. It's only India. So when something is going to be happen in India, so the cybersecurity, the more proactive approach is required, or the more opportunities are there in India, not in US. US is definitely multiplied by 86 or 87. Whatever you do it in India, it's a rupees one, and then it has to be multiplied by 86 to 5 to earn a $1 back in US. So if you look at that from that perspective, definitely US will give you a better results. But then there's the policies which has been devised by the United States of America president, the first man. Donald Trump, recently said that he asked his companies to avoid hiring of Indians. You have a best of a possibilities back in India. Don't look here and there. It's just only the possibilities from outside world. Again, you have to come back to India for the opportunities. Many of the Indian companies, like as a Sundar Pichai, he is actually looking with a certain collaboration with government of India, right? Microsoft, they have a best of the R&D offices back in Hyderabad, Microsoft. So if you look at all the perspectives, the GCC, now today there was an economic time which has said that almost like as a 177 Fortune 500 companies, 154 global capability centers have been established in India. This is a big statement. The whole world is looking at India, and the people are saying that the opportunity for the cybersecurity resources are not in India. I don't understand why people used to say this.
I hope that answers your
Okay,
question,
thank you.
Masood.
Thank you.
Apart from Masood or Masood himself, is anyone having questions from the audience, the participants? Is there anyone with questions? Or you can just serve this up. I guess they are not having any questions right now.
Thank you.
And yeah, if you have any questions, you can just DM him, I guess, in LinkedIn. Right, sir. Yeah. So I guess let's come to the conclusion of this podcast. And sir, I would like to thank you. Okay, Nitish is asking another question. So Nitish, can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, yeah,
Am I
Nitish, go ahead.
audible?
Yeah, you're
Yeah, go
audible.
ahead.
So my question is that what you would do if you were in my place and you wanted to opt in career in cybersecurity? I am currently in TY BSc IT.
Sorry, I didn't get the last line of your question. Can you repeat that?
Sir, what would you do if you were in my place and you wanted to opt a career in a cybersecurity? And I am currently in a third year BSc IT according to this
Ah,
era.
perfect. So the first thing that I also did BSc IT. I also completed the third year as well. So at that point in time, I entered into software engineering, and you have a great path. After 25 years, you can also be the CTO for any company.
Guess that answers your question. Yeah. Is there anyone having questions, or we can just conclude this podcast? Some questions. So, sir, I would like to thank you for spending 1 hour with us and spending time. And you have truly inspired us. I mean, exploring different sets of technology from bioinformatics to cloud computing to networking. I mean, to cybersecurity. It had been quite a great journey. I mean, we are truly inspired from you. And I guess after watching this podcast, people will take action, and if they are interested, and they will become interested in cybersecurity. I'm quite sure because of the projects that you have talked about, of the great projects. I mean, of you working, designing the architecture of a airport. Cybersecurity architecture of an airport to creating the bioinformatics system of voice recognition. I mean, with high success rate. I mean, it
Yeah,
had been a yeah, it had been a great journey. So, sir, thanks for coming here. So, sir, that's it. I mean, yeah, if you have any question, you can ask us, sir.
no, I don't think so. Anybody would have. Thanks, Sudeep. It was a really pleasure
Sir,
to interact with all of you, and thanks for letting me explain about my side. And thanks once again. Thank you.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And sir, can I ask you one thing, sir? For the feedback, I mean, were the questions interesting? I mean, asked by Masud and me.
Yeah, yeah, surely. Yeah, it was quite interesting one and quite different from the regular podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, sir. Thanks again for coming and spending time with us out of your busy schedule. So, good night, sir, and bye, bye, everyone. Good night,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye, bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.